but I'm a little stronger now.
Alright, so this is a raw for the update, how I'm looking at the moment. And holding to a bit of water. Last night I had a massive meal before I went to bed with a whole bunch of fats and carbs and protein, so I'm holding to a bit of water than I usually would. But I don't know, I think definitely a lot leaner than I was before. But as you can see with my weights, that was on the scale. I've gone back up, but yesterday I was in the 66s. Alright everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be covering the Q&A I did on Instagram. I'm going to pick just a couple of questions and run through those. So the first question is, how to fix muscle imbalances? Alright, so as an example we'll use chest. So say if you have one pec bigger than the other, what you want to do is unilateral movements, or pick unilateral exercises, so that being one side at a time. Now the best equipment for unilateral exercises is dumbbells. You pick an exercise, say like flat dumbbell bench press if one pec's bigger than the other. So there's a few ways of doing this. So what you're going to do is you can hold on to the bench with one arm and then press up, and make sure you, like any other movement, you get that stretch and contraction throughout the chest. Now in terms of structuring your workout, so what I would do is trial 3 different ways of doing this. Now the 3 different ways is you can do your normal sets and then tack on an extra 1 to 2 sets on that one side that is imbalanced or smaller than the other. The other way is you do no sets on the pec that is the strongest, and you wait for the other one to catch up while doing all your working sets on the one side. And the other is doing half and half, so you do half the amount of sets on both pecs, and then the other half you do with just the side that is the weakest. So that is what I suggest. Like, take those 3 ways and trial each one and see which helps the chest to grow. Alright, second question, bro split or push-pull legs? Alright, so if you don't know, a bro split is basically one muscle group a day. So like say chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And then push-pull legs is the split that I'm currently doing. So that is all your pushing movements on one day, all your pull movements on the next day, and then the legs. And then what you do is you repeat that. Now, I've done both. For years I did the bro split, and I think the bro split is good for beginners. However, I think push-pull legs is good for more advanced people. The reason I say that is because with the bro split, your protein synthesis post-training is elevated for, it's shown to be roughly about 72 hours. With push-pull legs, by the time you go to train the muscles again the second time, your protein synthesis would have gone down, but then you're going to elevate it again once you train the muscle again. So the good thing about push-pull legs is you get to train every muscle twice a week rather than once a week. However, with the bro split, you can put all your effort onto that one muscle group, and you can fully put your muscle-mind connection to work. But with the push-pull legs, like I say, the frequency is a lot better. Now, in terms of structuring the workouts, the bro split, you are doing roughly sort of 12 to 20 sets as a natural per muscle group. Now with push-pull legs, what you do is you actually split that up. So what I do is I'll do 5 sets on like say chest on the Monday, and then on the Thursday again I'll do another 5 sets. So I kind of split it up into 2, and I quite enjoy that. I think my recovery is a lot better. However, I just suggest you try them both and just see how they go. Next question, tips to grow biceps. Alright, my tips to grow biceps are fairly simple. The first one is frequency, training them twice a week at least. So what I would do is train your biceps twice a week. The second thing I would do is pick movements that are going to hit different heads of the bicep. So that being hitting the outer head for the peak, inner head for the thickness, and then your brachialis, which is inserted under the bicep. So 3 of those movements might be, you might do preacher curls or standing barbell curls, which are going to hit the inner head if you really focus on the inner head. The second being a movement behind your body, and that being something like a incline dumbbell curl. That is really going to hit the outer head of the bicep, the peak, or something like a concentration curl. And then the third being something like a reverse curl or some hammer curls, and that's going to hit every head of the bicep. And then the other thing too, along with that, is I would suggest picking movements that are going to provide tension in different stages of the movement. So the incline dumbbell curls, what they're going to do is they're going to provide tension at the stretch part of the stretch position. So at the bottom is going to be the hardest, and then with the preacher curls, the hardest part is going to be in the center, in the middle of that range of motion. The thing is providing good intensity. Now, because your muscle is such a small muscle group, you want to hit it with fairly good intensity, but also not smashing it to the point where it's gonna not recover. So that's going sort of like 1 to 2 reps shy of failure, and then taking it to failure on your last set, do your drop sets, do your supersets, and your giant sets. That's what I suggest for biceps in terms of growth. Alright, next one. Do I cut or bulk first? All depending on your goals. So I was listening to Avi Khan podcast with Dr. Mike Israetel, and what he suggested was quite relevant in terms of the way I think. So say you're a powerlifter. You are around 15 to 16% body fat, but you've got a competition coming up, you want to get your strength up fairly fast. I wouldn't cut, I'd just go straight into your strength phase. And that way you've got the energy expenditure to push more weight. However, if you're say a bodybuilder and you want to build a lean physique, what I'd suggest is you cut first, cut from say 15 to 16% body fat down to around 10 to 12, see where you're at, and then kind of lean bulk from there. Start off with a sort of 10 to 20% surplus, and if you're gaining way too much fat in a short period of time, back it off a little bit and kind of find your area of where you need to bulk. So it's pretty simple. If you have got short-term goals in terms of strength and you need to compete that way, don't cut, focus on cutting back later. If you're a bodybuilder, dial it back, see your physique at, and then kind of bulk from there. Alright, last question. Love that you're natural. Why did you choose to be natural? Alright, so when I started lifting, I knew nothing about steroids. There wasn't really much about it at the time. When I started lifting, I always looked towards physiques that I thought were natural. So I always aspired to look like Bruce Lee initially. And that's what I got to. I got to that shredded look, but then I wanted to one up and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Then I started to look into the more Arnolds and Phil Heaths and that, and I was like, yeah, I want to look like that. But then I started to realize that they were on performance enhancing drugs. So when I was 21, I was like, I got a bit impatient, and I was like, I'm just going to see if I can get it here. So I went online, looked at D-bol orals because I hate needles, and I was just like, sweet, I'm going to order it. So I had no idea what it was, if I was going to use it or not. And I started to order it, and it said, went to cart, and it said, does it ship to New Zealand? So I was like, well, obviously it's a sign for me not to get it. So ever since then, I've like come to learn enjoy the journey and stay natural. And I think it's a good inspiration for people who want to stay natural throughout their career. It is a very, very long-term thing, staying natural. Like, it is all about the journey. It's not about the fast results, especially when a lot of people around you are growing a lot faster, it is pretty hard to not give into that. I think I've gone to the point now where I just don't care. I just want to be natural and actually show the younger people that you can do it naturally and it is achievable. And I also want to show people that I can like grow muscle into my 30s as well, because I've been told multiple times that, oh, you're 30 soon, you can't grow muscle. I think it's a load of bollocks. I think you can do it as long as you have the right training and nutrition. Now, I don't discourage people who are on steroids. However, I believe that I just don't want to do it for my career. I don't think it is, it's just something I don't want to do. So I'm definitely not going to go down that route. But I love that this ICN show is natural and it is for naturals, so I cannot wait to compete in it and see what other natural physiques are in there. It's going to be an awesome show and I can't wait to see you all there. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, fire them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.